Hi Martin. Welcome to the stream. What is going to be today? We will have two sketches I know already, because they are for people who donated to our book project. One is already, and the rest I don't know. We will see. Hi Julian, hi Joan, hi Oziku. Welcome to the stream. And let's do announcements. Everyone online. No. Oh, I just noticed I didn't even tag everyone yesterday. Well, strange. And the day before that too. What a lazy person I am. So, I think we start with Joan's sketch, I would say, because he donated several times on the Old Kingdom GoFundMe campaign. He gets another wish. And I think he wanted a Styracosaurus. Maybe he changed his mind. Let me know. Is there? Oh yes, there is a good skeletal drawing. Good. By good skeletal drawing, I of course mean Scott Hartman. Good. Then Styracosaurus albertensis it is. Any wishes regarding composition, weather, daytime, coloration, etc.? Let me know. How could we do this? Besides skeletal drawing, I will look at some skeletal mounts. Especially I'm looking for skulls from different perspective to work with. To eat meat or not to eat eat meat. Eat? What I'm even thinking. What about an increasingly rising flood? That sounds unpleasant. Although we have very little bad weather sketches so far. Odd1, you have no further ideas? What are you doing with your life? Eating a jackfruit, struck by lightning. I think that was done already. Or it was the Ruberosaurus. I know that Finnish paleo artist with his horns series did something very similar. Hi Drake, hi Velociraptors, hi Jack, Zach, and the prehistoric dinosaur. I have to greet you, of course. With the frill horns covered in breath like a deer. That's a nice idea, Julian. As always, you know what I like. How do you do that? Julian is strong on the green side of the force. As you probably know, ceratopsian skulls are the worst. As I recently said on Facebook, to master ceratopsian skulls is to master perspective itself. They will not back down from the statement. I think we will make this part a little bit smaller. So the frill horns actually fit onto the picture. Not sure the proportions are correct. I think the face could be a little bit larger. Yep, like that. Joanne, I hope you like what you see. Yep. Yep. Let's add some details. And let's hope that today the tablet will not bug out. Because I still haven't found my other tablet. Okay. What was again? Oh, I think I made one large horn too much here. This can we shrink down again? Wait. Are there little prongs of... Ah, yes, yes, little. Okay. By the way, it's totally possible that these frill horns or the nasal horn were much longer actually. When you look at Borealopelta and how large the keratin covering there is, it's very well possible that something similar happened here. Oh, and before I forget it, there is actually in the initial description of Styracosaurus, they mention little osteoderms or stuff like that. Unfortunately, that material is lost, but it's described as little frills similar to Ceratosaurus. However, it's also possible that these animals had skin that was more similar to Triceratops, or I think something similar is known from Chasmosaurus too, with little with very large scales over the flanks and backside. Fortunately, we will have to wait for new material to find out. I think I will make this backlit with evening sun coming from behind. Yeah, and I still have to add the branches, of course. Probably I will add a little bit of a glow going through the frill. Oh, yo-yo. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's okay. I can't follow every stream as well. So oh, and maybe I should already add some branches here, otherwise it becomes difficult later on. Crown fit for king. Okay. Now the glow through the shield. Okay, I think I'm finished. Maybe let's make the contrast a little bit sharper. To make the glow. Yeah, I like that. There you go. Stegosaurus having problems with its large horny crown. Stegosaurus. Okay, next will be another request by someone who donated, Connor Ross, and he wants to see let me check again. What was it? Tratayenia. Yes, that new Megaraptorite. And he has a mating display in mind, as he wrote me. Unfortunately, there isn't much to work with in case of this guy, but I think it will be enough to make something different, interesting. Let's see. Okay. Since it's a Megaraptorite, I will mostly look probably at other Megaraptor, like Megaraptor itself, and another one. What was it? Murus Raptor. Yes. is too long, definitely. And that skull is too large. Yes, that's better. Yep. I will type it in for you, the prehistoric dinosaur. There you go. Oh, and Weaselman posted something on Discord. I didn't even notice. Oh no, oh not again. OBS bugged out so that when I click on this chat appears but not Discord. See, maybe I can fix that. No, it's not there. Hi, Spinal Drain Productions. Welcome to the stream. Yes, I need to bash my OBS. Or better, bash my computer? I don't know. Maybe it's not directly OBS, but something I may do wrong with the PC. Okay, and I would say we add a colorful mane to it, and probably a blue throat. Maybe not colorful mane, but something worthy of attention. typical Megaraptoran large ungual claws. Of course. Although we have no fossil evidence for this guy having such claws, but I think we can all agree that it becomes much cooler if I add them. Okay. Yep.
Am I coming through this time?
Oh! Oh, yes. Yes, you are.
Good. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Kirby. Welcome to the
To
stream.
you. Yay.
Yay. How often have you tried so far?
Back to the old grind. Huh?
How often have you tried so far to connect?
Oh, none. I was just remembered how bad it was yesterday.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, it's still very choppy, but we can work we can work with it, I think. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, one gets used to it. So, how is the Leptoceratops going?
Pretty good so far. I just realized that I moved the tree to the wrong layer, or a wrong layer. So I'm gonna have to fix that. I have one in the foreground showing up behind one in the background.
Oh.
But that's an easy fix, just a copy paste. I also learned that I thought that I had a novel idea about sauropods, but then Tristan told me that Mark Whitten had already suggested what I said.
What?
I guess not. I was guessing that sauropods were probably, at least like the really, really big ones, were probably really light in color, wouldn't absorb as much heat, considering that they're probably trying to lose as much heat as they possibly can.
Ah, yes, yes. I think he talked about that on his Camarasaurus blog post.
Ah.
Because Camarasaurus is
So much
frequently
to my
found in
knowledge.
arid, partly even desert-like environments.
Mhm. Well, I know that melanin can also aid in protecting skin from the sun, but I don't know if that with scaled skin as it does with exposed skin like in humans.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would assume light colors probably something that happened.
It's pretty likely. Also, when you look at many desert reptiles that live in the desert today, you see that as well. Also, I think desert elephants are a little bit lighter in color, but maybe that's just because of the dust. I'm not sure.
Well, elephants in general are pretty light in color.
Yeah.
Alright, now I can see what's on the screen. Some type of theropod. Is it a Megaraptor type theropod?
Yes, Megaraptoride. Trotayania. This very fragmentary known one, just from part of the pelvis and the dorsal vertebrates.
Interesting.
It's a sketch for Connor Ross, who just donated for the book.
Oh, good, good. I forgot that people who donate get to have whatever they want drawn.
Yeah. I even would do humans.
Within reason. Whoa.
You see how much I'm willing to do for money. This one, for example, is performing some mating display. Although I would also portray it mating. I have no problems with that.
Keep that in mind, guys. When in the Mesozoic would there be a higher amount of fruiting plants? I'm gonna guess the late Cretaceous and most fruiting plants.
I added now some scratch marks on the ground based on that paper that maybe preserves some mating arenas of Carcharodontosaurs.
I remember that one.
Yeah, pretty cool paper.
Oh, I never answered Julian's question. They are Bennettitails.
Ah.
Which I thought was a type of cycad and not something separate from them. But then again, I do not know that much about plant or just plants in general. I know that they're green.
Often.
Often, yeah. When they're healthy and it's fall, not fall. Anytime that's not fall. The exact opposite of fall.
Yeah, and of course there are certain plants who prefer more bluish pigments or more often reddish pigments. For example, we have in our garden a blood acorn who has red leaves all year long.
Interesting. I was rereading Matt Martinyuk's Field Guide to Mesozoic Birds this morning, or at least the intro part of it, where he talks about pigmentations and beak anatomy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, as always. Because I was rereading it because I had forgotten why birds are able to synthesize colors from carotenoids, but mammals can't. And as it turns out, birds have a very unique system in place in their bodies that allows them to synthesize color from carotenoids and have it go into their feathers. And not all birds can do this. The very basal lineages, like the
Paleognates.
I can't remember. Yeah, paleognates can't, and neither can the group that contains ducks and chickens. All them Gallonesiforms, I believe it is. They also cannot synthesize color from carotenoids. So from that, it is fairly reasonable to assume that non-bird dinosaurs probably couldn't as well.
At least theropods.
Doesn't mean that. Yeah, at least theropods.
It's possible that a similar system evolved in ornithischians, for example, or sauropods.
Yes, I was about to. That doesn't mean for sure that these animals were not able to. It just explains why birds can. Yeah, and also maybe even pterosaurs.
Yeah, this shows the limitations of phylogenetic bracketing.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things about pterosaurs that I would like to know regarding their similarities to birds. I'd like to know if they have any resonating organ like a syrinx. Syrinx type organ that allows them to make noise. I'd like to know if they're able to color from carotenoids into their pycnofibers.
Oh yeah, that would be
interesting. I'd like to know pycnofibers, but I'd like to know if pycnofibers
although it's I think a certain amount of vocalization, at least I could imagine, is certainly possible, considering that they had muscular tongues similar to some birds.
I wonder if ankylosaurs could do it as well then, since they have quite muscular tongues.
Oh, have you heard the that vocalization snippet from the last Saurian
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they base a lot of their noises off of, but I liked what I heard.
Yeah. Also, these
It's
duck-like
to be with it.
vocalization for the Enzu is quite nice.
What exactly were they going off of when they mentioned that Anzu may have the ability to mimic some other animal calls?
That's a feature they want to implement. That
But
yeah.
do you know if that's like based on anything?
No, it isn't based on anything
Oh.
in particular. You can't really tell that from fossils. It has more something to do with cognition and stuff. And but it's
I just remember them saying something about them hearing something that may have added to that, but I wasn't sure if that was just something I thought that I. Sometimes I'll read something and think and even if it's from a source that I don't trust, I'll just forget about it, and then later I'll remember it.
Yeah,
and think
I remember.
It's true.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I believe that's the same reason Darren does not read any of Peter's blogs. He's afraid he might accidentally bookmark some of the information away and think it's true later.
That's quite possible. There's so much information out there, it's easy to forget your sources.
Yeah. Every now and again I'll catch me, and then I'll think, wait, where did I learn that from? And if I can't remember exactly where I learned it from, I'll go look it up again just to make sure that it's true. Because there's been a lot of things I just took for granted since I was a child, because I heard it a bunch of times, and then I looked it up and found out that, that's actually not the case.
Yeah, I know that. It's the worst. But it's important to realize that you were wrong and carry on, I think.
Correct. My favorite type of people are the people that are able to admit when they are wrong.
Just like the American president.
I don't know about him. I think the closest he's ever come to upon something is maybe he said, "I misspoke."
Yeah, or when he
but I don't think
just
he's ever
says
flat out
nothing.
said something wrong. Yeah. Nothing at all is usually, or just dismissing the claims as being from an illegitimate source. Which, by the way, I would like to point out that while it's not perfect, journalism right now is more objective and factual than it has ever been in human history.
Probably because we are actually able to fact check.
Yeah. That's not to say that you should trust everything that you read in a news article, just that you shouldn't. There's not that much reason to be insanely skeptical of everything. But it's always good to go check sources for yourself, especially if it's something that you're passionate about.
Yeah. I think as well.
I, for example, for the longest time, believed the assertion that was put out by, I think the BBC did a report on this. A few news articles did a report on this, that the plague was actually started by gerbils carrying fleas and not rats. But when you actually read the study it was based off of, it has nothing to do with whether or not it was rats that brought the plague over. It was just saying that in some areas gerbils contributed as opposed to rats, but it's uncontroversial that rats brought most of it over.
That's just bad science journalism in that case. Yeah, it's...
Mm-hmm.
Which is still way too common.
Yeah, a lot of people will greatly stretch the truth of an article to get
for
something
a few more clicks.
Yeah. Or sometimes they'll just flat out lie about a certain element in it. The dinosaur dandruff one is the most recent example, I believe.
And dinosaur intelligence being that of a chimp.
Oh, when did this happen? I
When
haven't heard about it.
When Steve Brissett's Dinosaurs How They Rose and Fall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or Dinosaurs Rise and Fall, something like that it was. And he was, at least I think, misquoted that T-Rex would be had the intelligence of a chimp.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyrannosaurus was more intelligent than most theropods, but not anywhere near a chimp.
Yeah, very unlikely.
Yes. I'm
And
not
even
sure
if
what modern day animal would be most
even if
comparable.
that would be the case, we have no fossil material or evidence that would suggest that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be, but we just can't test it.
Correct. That was another thing with the whole dolphins have language debacle. Well, again, dolphins, even language, we don't know if they do or not. The study that was talking about it did not. They got to their conclusions based on very little evidence, and it was kind of a leap.
Yeah. Although, because we had recently an evolutionary anthropologist talking to us, and he said usually in back in the day we not really paid attention to anecdotes and just looked at these large studies with thousands of data points and stuff like that. But more recently, when it comes to studying the intelligence of animals, you really have to look at these anecdotal points and stories, because they can sometimes tell you stuff about the cognition of animals that's much more exceptional than we thought. And just like humans, overall we usually tend to behave pretty stupid, you know, but once in a while there is something marvelous and very intelligent coming up, and that's where we should focus more on, at least in animals that are similar to us, where it's possible to anthropomorphize in a way. where it's okay to do it.
I also think it's important to remember that sheer brain to body size ratio doesn't necessarily correlate with intelligence.
Yeah.
Let's take the elephant fish, which has a very large brain compared to its body size, one of the largest of any vertebrate. Yet they don't show any particular signs of intelligence or sapience.
Yeah.
They use their large brains for detecting electrical currents, and tree shrews as well. They have the largest brains relative to body size of any mammal, of any tetrapod, I believe, in general. But they have the intelligence of a tree shrew. It's not very
Or
impressive.
at least that would be thought so far.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a case of
and by they I mean the tree shrew.
Douglas Adams syndrome. We think we are in control, but the tree shrews actually control us.
So long, and thanks for all the pitcher plants.
Oh, by the way, OBS bugged out again, and I can not show any of these pictures and work in progress snaps that you guys post online. It is a shame.
Damn you.
Yeah. Juan said I should bash OBS, but I'm streaming with it in the moment. I can't bash it. Maybe after the stream.
Yeah, let it have its moment in the sun right now. We don't want it to go offline on us.
Yeah.
Because we talked bad about it.
Okay, I think I'm finished.
It's kind of like if you're out to dinner with one of your friends and your significant other, and they say something that bothers you, you don't call them out on it while you're still out with your friends, because that makes things awkward. You wait till after it's over.
Yeah, at least usually you should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course there are people who don't really follow this rule. For example, my sister is one of my sisters, my oldest, is studying how to become a teacher at the moment, and she had her practical semester at a school. So she studies to become an elementary teacher, and in the middle of a class, the guiding teacher say to her over the heads of all the other students, you know, the kids learned nothing today. That's not how you should do it, this, I think.
Yeah. You should probably wait till like a private meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That was a bit uncalled for.
That was a dick move.
Truly.
Especially because the kids were pretty happy.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Well, there's more to teaching than just presenting information.
Oh yeah.
If you want it to stick in a kid's head, you have to be a little more entertaining with it.
Okay, guys, let me know what we should do next. Oh, and I think I just already sent this sketch to Connor. And maybe I get something to drink.
I see Genius of Bird just got done and it was extremely fascinating. I just might. That would be an interesting read.
Carcharodontosaurus, Panthera, Blutea. Pterosaurs are already welcome. Just tell me what. Which one? There are by now a lot.
What's the one that's the really powerful jaws?
Do you mean Jungaripterus?
I don't have... No, it's named begins with a C, I believe.
C.
I thought I had Mark Whitten's pterosaur book with me, but I don't. So now I can't verify what that animal was. It's one of the more basal ones.
Oh, long-tailed?
Yes. With a little bit of a crest. I'm gonna try to find it.
Oh, you mean yes. That one from Solnhofen? No, that was Cycnorhynchus. No, Caviramus.
Related to that though.
Caviramus?
Yes, that's the one. I remember Mark Whitten saying that its jaws may be an adaptation for eating crustaceans.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy one. Wait a second. Oh, I sent Connor a sketch.
Although I must say that Tarbosaurus hunting Opisthoceocardia sounds interesting.
Although we already had
too much for
Opisthoceocardia, aka Nemectosaurus.
There's one thing that I'd like to see you draw, but I can't say what it is. Embargo. But it has to do with the Elosaurus.
I know what you mean. I feel your pain. Knowledge can be so painful.
Some of that myself.
Okay, then we do Caviramus.
Yay. Munching on some crustacean.
That is, again, good reason to go to my room and look for Mark Whitten's Pterosaur book.
Yeah. I know where mine is, I hope he does a new edition of that book someday, because there's both a lot more stuff to be added, and he's gotten quite a bit better at drawings. So. I must say that a lot of the illustrations in that book are not the most pleasant to look at, to put it lightly.
By now, yes. When you are...
By now,
yes.
Compared to his current stuff, especially.
Yeah, I mean he made
quite a bit better.
Shortly after he finished the book, his paleo art makes such a huge jump suddenly, and then a few years later, again.
He just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
as most artists.
And there are a few pictures in this book that he did over and over again by now.
Yes, there are a few that he's redone. I believe he's redone one of KB Ramus.
Yep. The one he did for the book is, I think he did a new one. Actually, he totally redid that one because the position of the humerus was wrong. Because the articulation of it looks like they were more sprawling on the ground than other pterosaurs. Relatively stiff wings.
I think it's interesting that Nyctosaurus had no digits. Well, aside from its
wing finger. Yeah.
Long. I imagine it wouldn't be too terribly great at walking. But then again, most pteranodonts aren't that great, it seems.
Yeah. As Witten and others wrote, it's most likely an adaptation for long-distance pelagic soaring. So to have as little aerodynamic
drag
obstacles as possible. That's also why I gave my Alcyone that Maastrichtian short-winged Nyctosaur from Morocco fingers, actually, with claws, because I think it's first off, it's relatively basal, and it has short wings that aren't really useful for long distance flights. So it would probably be more on the ground than later more derived Nyctosaurs.
I still am impressed by, of course, not all pterosaurs, but most pterosaurs seem to be quite versatile, being able to do a whole lot on land without being very clumsy.
Indeed.
Certainly, as Darkoids were the big contenders on that, and Dimorphodon, but
yeah,
Pterodactylus, it seems like it does just fine, both on land and in the air.
True.
I believe the only ones that were kind of clumsy on land were the Pteranodontids. I can't really think of any others.
And maybe some derived Ornithochirids.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and maybe actually animals like Campylognathidis, which had extremely long wings as well.
Yeah, usually long wings are a sign of that. Longer wings and shorter legs.
Yeah.
I always love seeing illustrations of pterosaurs galloping, though. They're just so darn cute. I might have to be cliche and say this is my favorite pterosaur.
Caviramus?
No, Pterodactylus.
Oh, okay.
I like the way that John Conway has been Pterodactylus because he has interpreted the little the smaller crest coming out of the back of the animal's head as a bunch of hardened pycnofibers instead of an extenuation of the other crest that is more dorsally oriented on the head.
I'm not sure I have done.
I don't know. He's redone all of his pterodactylus to have the bigger crest and also
okay.
this pycna fiber. So you've probably seen the old versions of them, but he's redone them. He often goes back and redoes some of his old paintings, but some of them he's just decided to leave as is. Like he made a statement saying that he's not make any of his feathered tyrannosaurs scaly because it'd be too much effort and it represents what we honestly thought was the case at the time.
That's
which
true.
is what paleo art is for. So there's no sense in going back and correcting it.
Yeah.
If we thought it was credible when it was made, then it's fine.
It's true. I think this way too. When it's very shortly after I'm finished, something comes out that totally changes. I'm sometimes inclined to change stuff, but usually.
Yeah. You see, the unfortunate thing with me is that a lot of my work that have not aged well have been because I jumped the shark and not really because I was going with what was good at the time, like putting filaments on my juvenile stegosaurs, stuff like that. Although Greg Paul put filaments on juvenile sauropods.
Yeah, and he redid his Dryosaurus painting. That famous one.
Greg Paul?
Yeah. He changed the background from a floodplain to a forest. A very dense forest with a steep shore. And he gave the Dryosaurus a zebra mane-like fluff on back and neck.
Wow. When did he do this? Is this recent?
No, it's been around for a few years. You can see it in dinosaur art.
Oh, okay. It took me a while to remember what that one was.
Yeah, yes, or maybe you have never seen the original one. That's also possible. I remember it from my childhood.
I probably just either haven't seen the original or... I still need to buy the new edition of the Princeton Field Guide to Dinosaurs.
Yeah, and I don't
because
want
my
to.
old one is...
I don't want to buy it.
I didn't want to buy it, but then my old edition got ruined, and I thought, well, I might as well just buy the new one if I'm going to replace it. Because,
Find a good book to buy a new
Paul's
book.
Art.
Find a good reason to buy a new book. What I'm... Words. Damn it.
Yeah. I also get to see his really strange opinions on dinosaur phylogeny.
Ah, yes, a classical Greg Paul.
I wonder if he's updated his Stegosaurus skeletal to be more like Sophie. I don't know if Sophie was before or after he published the new edition.
I don't think so. I think I've seen pictures of the new book, also the Stegosaur page, and I think it was the same.
Hmm.
Although
Version came
it
out,
must
but I
be
know
said,
Sophie.
Sophie is a sub-adult, and I'm not sure the proportions wouldn't change a little bit at least in adults again.
I would assume yes, but Sophie does make a lot more sense relative to other stegosaurs and their proportions, at
That's
least
true.
compared to the, you know, the dinosaur renaissance stegosaurus, I suppose I'll call it.
Yeah, the dinosaur renaissance stegosaurs had sometimes so short necks that it's hard to believe how they reach down to drink without you going
And those bats
down in their
up.
elbows.
Mm-hmm. And man, yeah, dinosaur renaissance stegosaurus also had really, really, really tall legs compared to their front limbs.
Yeah.
It was almost like a reverse Giraffatitan.
Yeah, besides the droppy tail, I think the Stegosaurus of the dinosaur revolution not really changed much from its previous depictions.
Mm-hmm. I saw Greg Paul's old skeletal for Camptosaurus where he did an overhead view of it, and very, very different than how many of the Camptosaurus challenges look. And in fact, he restored it as being quite flat, almost like a Ceratosaurus.
Oh.
So it makes me question. Because every now and again I'll use a Greg Paul dorsal view skeletal as a reference. Now I'm questioning how accurate even those are, since he was so off on Camptosaurus. Although that might just be something that he fixes in the new edition.
Yeah, and of course maybe he worked with taphonomically distorted material, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he
I'm
works.
not sure what the proportions for the I'm not sure how the proportions for the Camptosaurus challenge Camptosaurus came from. If they came from a newer specimen or.
Yeah, it came from mostly from a skeletal mound that Brian Eng photographed and made a video of.
Hmm. I assume it was a trustworthy skeletal mount because most are quite dubious.
It looked pretty good, I must say.
Okay. I know that the main thing that skeletal mounts do is that they sprawl the limbs a lot more than they would be in real life. And even the good ones, I've noticed, have backed a bit.
Wonder why. Maybe because they don't really account often for the cartilage.
Yeah.
Maybe, and so it becomes difficult to squeeze in the limbs in a correct position.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I have always problems with Cantrosaurus in Berlin. It's really sprawled.
I don't still. Okay. That makes sense. I like your Caveramus so far. Just to look at it.
Yeah, I'm quite happy as well. I will include a little crustacean down here, probably.
Yeah.
And, oh, I think the jaws look a little bit strange. Let's squeeze it a little. It feels like the upper jaw is too short now.
I've also been thinking more on how it seems that a lot of predatory dinosaurs, especially from the late Cretaceous paleo environment, seem to show a trend toward nocturnality, while the dinosaur herbivores of that time seem to have been more diurnal.
Well, it's probably similar to what we see in modern day Serengeti, with the big cats mostly being nocturnal.
They're cheaters, attacking things while they asleep. The problem is that many deers and gazelles and ruminants in general, they don't actually sleep that much. Tristan told me that on average they get around, let me see what number he gave me real quick. But they don't get very much sleep every night. 15 minutes a night sometimes.
Whoa!
And they usually take turns. Yeah, they usually take turns sleeping as well, because they sleep in groups. So one of them is always awake and on the lookout.
Damn.
He said that animals tend to get more sleep when they think they're in a secure, but often they're not. That's why many animals hide in burrows. It was something that I never really went into research about, is why more predators don't take advantage of sleeping prey, and it turns out that they do. They do quite often, but it's just sometimes sleeping prey is hard to find, and sometimes sleeping prey is hard to get to and access. They may be sleeping in burrows, or they may be sleeping in a group. The assertion that the fighting dinosaurs painting, the fighting dinosaurs fossil with Velociraptor and Protoceratops must have happened at dusk, because that was the only time where they would have both been active, since Velociraptor is nocturnal and Protoceratops is diurnal. Is called into question there, because it could just be that Velociraptor was attacking a sleeping Protoceratops.
That would make a lot of sense.
That's also completely unfair and very... This was already a threatening animal, but knowing that it's attacking animals while they're asleep is not very, is not a very settling image.
Well, it's certainly more interesting than what we usually get, I would say.
Yes. And as you brought up, Tyrannosaurus is a very large, heavy animal living in a highly forested area. Probably made a lot of noise moving around. It couldn't run very fast at all. And Triceratops is an animal that loosely associates in herds, so attacking one in broad daylight is quite difficult.
True.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it is attacking sleeping animals.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see how Saurian will handle night vision of the different playable dinosaurs.
Yeah, I was wondering that as well. I was imagining something similar to most nighttime cameras.
Yeah.
So in other words, mostly black and white, but a fairly clear image. Oh, Julian is right. There was a recent study that Egypt was crepuscular. My bad. I had forgotten about that. And I know that Triceratops, with its very small eyes, probably didn't have that great of eyesight.
Yeah,
And
but
was more
also
likely to be
although
active during
it
the
should be
day.
said that many of these studies concerning eyesight and so on are often controversial.
Yeah. And also, it's absolute size of the eye and not relative to body size that determines how much light is entering the eye. So, even though Tyrannosaurus may not have very proportionately large eyes, they're still large just in general size. I mean, we're talking about grapefruit size things. Also, I'm stealing everything that I'm saying straight from something that Tristan said, so just figured I'd give Tristan his due diligence.
Better this way than just making things up. Although of course Tristan could make up these things as well. Okay, I think I'm finished with shading, so you guys can go ahead and tell me what coloration you would like to see on this Caviramus.
I believe crustaceans usually have red carotenoids contained in them. Some of them, anyway.
A lot. That's true.
Maybe a red crest then.
No bad idea. Yes, Juan also says red, orange, yellow crest. Yeah. Maybe. Oh. I think I have something in mind.
Bird says that he doesn't think Triceratops were easy prey at night. According to a brain study, they might have had a good sense of smell. My only counter to that is Tyrannosaurus probably had a much better sense of smell. Even if they weren't great nighttime prey, in general, it would probably still be easier to attack when at night than during the day.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be an interesting coloration. Something like a Tamandua, where they have the kind of bibbed overall thing going on with the dark and light parts of their body.
That could work.
I don't know if I would still use the yellow brown that a Tumblr white and black or white and gray.
I will first do the crest now and then let's see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, Joshua.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you've seen this by now because I'm seeing a delayed version. But did you remember to put nostrils on it?
Oh! Yes, I totally forgot. Thank you for telling me. Oh god.
No problem. I was just making sure I wasn't seeing a... because I know I'm seeing a delayed version of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Know if you had corrected it already. Nostrils are overrated. You are correct, unprofessional professional. I hear that breathing through your skin is all the rage now. Or just absorbing oxygen like an insect.
Yeah, true. The best way is sucking in air through your anus, I think.
Yes.
Must say the nostril looks not much different than the little line I had beforehand here. Maybe it was already nostriled, but I didn't realize it. Okay.
Meow. Joshua, I think that your cats have been on more streams than I have. Maybe they're the real co-hosts.
Very likely.
Mm.
Okay, and I will make the face relatively dark.
I went back and I listened to some of last stream, and I noticed that there were sections where I had been talking for a while, but absolutely none of it came through.
Yeah.
That would explain why you didn't ever interject with the pen talking.
Although I think it's better today so far.
Yeah. Although it was storming last night, and I didn't even take into consideration that that might affect it.
Yeah.
But today it's all good.
It presses through its crest. Also, totally possible. Wait, I have to look at the cat. Jimmy.
Oh geez, I have all of these ferns in the wrong layer.
And we continue.
Yeah.
Stembird, you are right. We have sometimes cats outside of the window that cry like little babies, little girls, specifically, little girls around the age of 3 or something. It sounds exactly like that. And we only know that they are cats because it's directly under the window. And it's very unlikely that you would have little girls there.
That's what they want you to think.
Probably.
Last night I tried to convince myself that I liked beer, and it didn't work. I went to a bar, and I was like, I'll have a beer. And I told them, I don't usually drink beer, so give me something not as strong. So they gave me the weakest beer that they had, and it was still too strong for me.
Or it wasn't strong enough.
Maybe. I think the problem is I just like sweet things too much when it comes to stuff that I drink. Although I do like coffee, but then again, the only coffee that I like is more sweetened coffee. I'm just opposed.
Yeah, also the only version of coffee I like is iced coffee. So and only the version with a porter, which is I think 80% made of sugar.
I just want to drink at a bar with all my friends, but no, I have to have soda. I've tried to get into drinking tea. Basically anything that's not drinking soda, because I know it's not good for me.
I just don't drink.
Don't drink anything at all. Oh yeah, your DeviantArt always says that you're drinking moisture from the atmosphere.
Yes, indeed. No, really, but if I'm happen to be in a bar with someone, well, I have one water or lemonade or Sprite or virgin cocktail, and the rest had already 10 beer, usually around that time.
If the bartender calls me out, I can just say that I'm the designated driver.
Yeah. I used to say back in the day, well, somebody has to get the girls home, you know?
Like, there was a time where I would ask all my friends if they wanted to go to the bar with me, and the only reason that I wanted to go is because I wanted to play the board games that they had there. So I love board games, but I don't own any.
Let's see.
And my local library used to host
how
events where people would get
to
together.
color the body of this animal.
I like what you've got going so far with the crest color and the black head. I still think that the Tom and Dua overalls would look good on it.
Yeah, maybe a very light gray for the neck now. And then something Tamandua related on the body.
Okay. My local library used to have board games, and they would have a board game night that I would go and play. Able to go anymore. And that's unfair. You should be able to enjoy board games at any age.
It's true.
Discrimination at the highest caliber. Is there anything local to your area that you like to do for fun, Joshua?
Not really, I'd say. But I'm more the indoor type anyway, so...
And mostly, but here lately I've been wanting to go out and see people more. There's a lot of places in the downtown region where I live where there's like theaters and small art exhibits that I like to go to, and a nice little pathway to walk.
Oh, I think now you are cut out for a moment.
Oh no. Well, I was just talking about things in my town I like to do, so it's not important. Okay, now it begins to be an interesting color scheme. Okay. Well, my stream has been paused, so I can't see what's go up a little bit more. Ah, yes. I like that.
It's weird to think about that I'm talking about the version I'm working on right now, and you see that version maybe 2-3 minutes later, and then this discussion is only heard 3 or 2 minutes later by the audience. It's a whole chain of delay in the system. On the other hand, it's a good way to avoid stream sniping.
It is. But if one of the audience members is about to die in 2 minutes and we have to warn them, it doesn't work out very well.
That's true. Well, there are pros and cons to every situation.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Julian, be prepared. The monkey with the wrench is gonna come in exactly 2 minutes from now when I'm speaking. Meow.
I'm already much more pleased with the results of this stream than most of the last 4 streams. It feels like I'm
good.
coming back into my old form.
Well, you had a little while where you were, so
yeah.
Sometimes it takes a while to get back into the swing of things after a few days off.
Indeed.
I wonder how much progress is left to be made current books. Not Mark Whitten, Matt Martin.
I wonder as well. I wonder how long I will need for my book, actually.
How far into the process do you believe that you are right now?
I think I'm 80% finished with the text.
Oh, good. And what of the illustrations?
Illustrations wise, probably the same. On the other hand, I oftentimes get new ideas here and there, and then I think, oh well, maybe add this and that. And
oh no, Julian didn't get my warning in time.
Damn it.
So all in all, you're roughly 80% done with the book in general. If you're around 80% done with the writing and the illustration.
I would say yes.
That's exciting. How long have you been working on it?
Since, a year.
Oh.
Good thing is most of the stuff I wrote down was already in my head for a pretty long time. Or a few stuff was actually written down already elsewhere in form of Facebook or DeviantArt comments, sometimes even. And with the pictures, of course, huge part was already done because it's stuff I did sometimes years ago. A little bit of all your yesterdays is in there, for example.
Mm-hmm. What percentage of new stuff to old stuff is going to be in there, picture-wise?
Probably around 50% of new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
That's good.
At least when it comes to the point where we say, okay, if we add more pictures, it will become more too expensive. I will always kick out the older stuff in favor of the newer stuff. So it actually might in the end be even more newer stuff.
Okay.
I recently was on Lulu, and they have their calculator for book prices. When you use that template and that size and that if you use that many pages and color illustration or just black and white or just text, and what was it? I think I typed in 160 pages for color and square, and it came out with something like nearly 30 euro or something.
That is a thing to have.
Yeah, it would be pretty expensive probably in the end. So let's see. But
well, I'm sure it's worth.
Maybe we will actually get a publisher for this. At least I recently talked with a professor about the book, and she said definitely try to get a publisher for this. And better call 50 publishers than just 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. I know of a book that I want to do, but I haven't started it yet. Although I'm not sure if the illustration I'm currently working on is going to be something I'm going to put.
Oh, audio is gone again.
Oh, I said I have a comic book that I want to do, but I haven't done anything for it yet, and I'm not sure if the thing I'm working on right now is going to be in it or not. Certainly nothing I've done before is going to be in it.
Oh, actually, I was thinking maybe Caviramus could be even among the pterosaurs which still had lips. But I think it's now too late to add them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think at some point we need to explore that on a stream.
Mm-hmm. Have you done Dimorphodon on the stream yet?
Yes. Actually, I'm not sure if I added...
I was going to say that'd be a good candidate.
I'm not actually sure if I added lips in that case or not. Okay, let's save this one.
The Tyrannosaurus might be a good one, but it's not known for very much.
Yeah. Julian, I'm actually not composing or designing the book. That's something that Franz is doing, Franz Anthony. I'm not sure what he uses.
Oh.
Yeah. Because that's something I said from the beginning when the guys were like, come on, write that book, put something together, and I was okay, but I will not do the design for it, you know. That's not my specialty. Okay, guys, let me know what I could do next.
Whoops.
Unprofessional. That's a very cute uniruginated you have there. Oh, and Spino Dragon. That looks not so bad. That sauropod in the sunset. I did something rather similar for the Old Kingdom, actually. Maybe try to make the sun less like a solid object. Let's say it's when working with pure light, it's more about leaving stuff out than actually drawing it. Yeah, maybe now something else than a dinosaur or pterosaur would be nice. Panthera lutea. Isn't that this cat species that Mauricio Antone illustrated? Yes, of course he illustrated that one. Ah, yeah, the one from Tibet, I remember. Yeah. Yes, that one. Unfortunately, it's a cat, so it's maybe a little late for cats right now. I think an amphibian would be nice. We do so little amphibians on these streams. But it's
I
perfect.
muted myself by accident. I was going to ask, have you done a Sphenodon on a stream yet?
What? Sphenodon?
Sphenodon, you know, like Dimetrodon.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did Dimetrodon. But are you sure they are called Sphenodons? Because when I remember correctly, Sphenodons are something like here Tuataras and stuff. Don't you mean Pelycosaurs?
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad. Pelycosaurs.
Yeah, and then there are Spinosuchians also. But I think that's again a different clade of long-legged crocodilomorphs or something like I think. cave beer, also interesting. I remember two years ago at the EAVP meeting there was one symposium just with cave beer talks. Bear talks, not beer. I always say beer. I don't know why. Ah.
It's fine.
Bugs me every time. Every time I notice it.
We accept it. Your alcoholism.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hadrosaurus. Hadrosaurus is a great idea, Stambert.
Yay.
Hadrosaurus is one of the animals I did for the Saurian art book, actually.
I think Ashley did one too of Hadrosaurus.
I'm very curious to see in the end how many Hadrosaurus there will be in that book. I hope
More
mine will not be the only one.
Well, I know Ashley's one, so.
Oh, yes. Right. She did one as well.
What did I do? I did Bro Davis. I did that one Hesperornithine with an overhead view that also had the and the crocodilomorph that I can't remember the name of at all.
Borealosuchus?
Champsosaurus.
Champion.
Champsosaurus.
Yeah.
I did do the
crocodilomorph. That. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all.
Pseudo crocodilomorph.
I keep thinking because they look like Megatheriorhynchus, but they're not. Appears in the book. That would be neat.
Fantastic.
I don't know why I think they might not put it in there, but I've always been paranoid. I have no reason to assume they won't put it in there.
It's true.
But you know, you have to find something to worry about. Otherwise,
it
why
would
are
be
you
nice
even on
if humans had the ability to not worry about stuff. I read a science fiction book, and there was an intelligent species that was unable to worry about stuff. They were able to feel stuff like being afraid and so on, but not being worried about stuff in the future or what could happen. And
yeah, that would be nice.
I think that was a very interesting concept, because worrying about stuff, it's not really a very useful ability to have. So I can imagine intelligent species without worrying.
I remember I read on a synapsida flying squirrels that flying squirrels have a constantly high stress level.
Oh god. So it's basically the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at least you're not a flying squirrel, is what I usually try to tell myself.
Yeah,
It's only
that's
the
true.
New World flying squirrels that have this. Well, I don't know if it's only the New World flying squirrels, but the New World flying squirrels were what were used for this. So there's no evidence that old world flying squirrels have this high stress level, but New World's one.
The nice thing about sirens like Hadrosaurus is that they are so easy to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Simple body.
And so beautiful.
Yeah. Sirens are very underappreciated, I think. I'm very curious what Darren will write about the fossil relatives and so on in his big book.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of interesting stuff to pick apart.
Yep. Guys, in case you don't know, Hadrosaurus is a large siren from Hell Creek, or I think also a few other localities.
Not to be confused with Sirenian, which are manatees.
Yeah, and not to be confused with Hadrosaurus. This is Habro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, bro.
Yeah, they are bros.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to remember them. The amphibian that is your bro in Saurian.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Because this guy will probably also be in the game.
Yes.
Because it's rather large,
yeah, so
up to 1 meter and 80 centimeters in large specimens.
How round are they, though?
I would suspect that at least the front half of their body would be cylindrical. And towards the back, I make it here more elliptical.
Yashua, if you ever discover a fossil siren, will you name it Ohabrosaurus?
Maybe.
Yay. On these burn things, I only have 3 more strings of them to do.
Okay guys, let me know what could be a suitable coloration for this guy.
Who would win in a fight, Taurus or Fabrosaurus? That's the real question.
Hmm. Also, I think, Julian, that's very true. Flying squirrels are stressed out because they haven't evolved yet into bats.
Their
It's the only possible reason.
best friends are
Oh, and Julian,
Why aren't
Julian always knows what I like. You know, it's crazy. For example, this idea to put a snail into the mouth of this large amphibian.
He's ahead of the game.
Yes. How is that even possible?
And that's why he's our favorite listener. Okay. One more frond. I can take, and then my sweaty hands can take a break.
Maybe you should really try that product you were advertising on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Maybe I should. I don't know if it was RJ or Henry on one of the stories said that they liked doing tedious stuff like scales and fronds on ferns and stuff like that because it allows them to relax and turn their brain off. But I'm the opposite. I prefer doing things that allow me to think while I'm doing them. That's when I have the most fun. I don't like doing the tedious stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And also, I just realized that there's another cycad that I forgot about that I have to put bronze on.
The never-lasting troubles.
Actually, I'll wait and do this one later because I'm gonna have to do something different with this since it's close.
See.
Will however change the bark color?
Unprofessional professional mud puppy coloration works very well on these guys. Problem is I already did that for the Saurian one. Giant Japanese salamanders. Well, they are razor.
I don't know. They seem to be doing a different move.
They are just muddy most of the time. And black and yellow tiger salamander coloration is maybe a little bit too flamboyant. Although we can maybe find a middle ground.
Poop. Poo diarrhea. Okay. And whoosh. Yay. Alright. My evil plan worked. And by evil, I just mean a different color.
That's
Well,
evil
in
enough.
all this time, all that I managed to do was put the fronds on all of the ferns on these things. But that's progress.
It is indeed.
That painting that I was the least looking forward to out of the way. So. And now I guess I can post a whip in the chat.
Please do.
Oh, I can get on Discord with my computer now. I forgot.
Oh wow.
Very convenient. So I don't have to go and post something in Messenger and then post it onto Discord after I download it. Oh, Julian's Sicilian suggestion is pretty cool.
Gray, blue, yeah. Also possible, but I already started with this coloration now.
My stream is catching up.
Yeah, which is a mixture of the giant salamander and tiger salamander in a way.
I like Sicilians an awful lot. I like how they feed their babies their skin every 3 days and then regrow
That's
it.
very, very nice indeed.
Very good parenting there.
Yeah.
Letting your children eat.
One of the coolest alternatives to lactations I know.
It's pretty metal. Pretty heavy metal stuff.
Yeah. And I try to imagine how it would be to have a sentient, an intelligent species of these guys, and how their culture would look like if they would have similar discussions like we have about breastfeeding and stuff.
Yeah. It'd be like, mammals are disgusting. They feed their young modified blood from huge sweat glands.
Blech. And as an alternative
They need to be civilized like us.
And as an alternative to mothers who can't produce this special skin, there would be paper-like stuff that the babies can eat, something like that.
It would be called a vegan skin product.
Yeah. Or virgin skin.
I think there's more interesting things to be said about sapient Sicilians. One is, how are they manipulating things since they have no limbs?
That's true. Well.
Alright, my Discord finally loaded up. Can't post it in the announcements chat. That would be stupid.
Indeed.
It would be better. I can post in the announcements chat anyway. Yep, I can't. Whoops. Oh, I see Tristan is playing Jurassic World Evolution.
Oh no.
I'm calling him out.
I mean, it has some interesting features, but for the most part it feels
Is
like...
that the one where... Go on.
It mostly feels for me
Sorry.
like warmed up coffee. You know, it's
Yeah.
eh.
Is that the one where Julius Chitoni did the art for?
Yeah, well, he didn't do the art for it, but he did that for the Jurassic World 1 for the website, and they got the artwork as yeah, templates to work with as references. And you can actually see in in certain animals where they didn't have references from the movies that they can work pretty accurate. But of course, then you see this pretty convincing Pentaceratops being attacked by these horrible Deinonychus, for example. And you just think,
yes.
What the fuck
I just
is going on?
my whip in the chat, by the way.
Yeah. I think the only feature I think that I find pretty impressive so far is that you can, at a certain stage, drive your own gyrospheres.
Oh, fun.
That can be pretty nice.
A friend of mine wants me to play Ark. And I'm not entirely too sure how I would do in Ark. I don't know much about that game. I know that you can poop in it. That's pretty progressive.
Yeah, and you use that poop and the poop of the dinosaurs to produce fertilizer.
Oh, good.
I like Ark much more than Jurassic World Evolution. So much more interesting gameplay wise.
Apart from Saurian, what would you say apart from Saurian is your favorite dinosaur themed game?
I think in the moment it's still Ark. Although it's of course
okay.
Just because it has interesting gameplay mechanics. Of course, most of the dinosaurs are pretty unimpressive, but how they are used and what the developers made of it can be very interesting and something to be entertained by for a pretty long time.
Oh, there's also Prehistoric Kingdom. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, I probably would mention that as well, but I think it's too early for that. And I very much expect to exceed Jurassic World Evolution in terms of fun over the next few years. because of all the different mechanics they will add that goes beyond what Jurassic World offers so far.
I quite look forward to it. I really, really like their coat designs for the animals. Their pattern designs have all been very, very...
Yeah. The skins for Jurassic
World
Evolution are usually just very boring to non-existing to... yeah.
I might go as far to say Historic Kingdom has some of my favorite animal coat designs in general, out of stuff like documentaries and video games.
Yeah, they have good ones.
Have been consistently very... yeah, they've been consistently very convincing and very unique at the same time.
Indeed. Also, not too complex sometimes. For example, some of these skins for Dinosaur Revolution were beautiful, but oftentimes very, very complex. So that you, when the animal wasn't moving, when it moved, you weren't really able to appreciate it, and because it's about animals, they usually moved.
Yes, no, I totally agree with that. Dinosaur Revolution had a lot of problems like that. I think their animals were a little bit over designed. I think they were trying a little bit too hard to make them look striking and recognizable.
Yeah.
And also they often would just take modes and put it onto extinct ones, which I've never been a fan of.
Yeah.
I certainly do appreciate the Beast of the Mesozoic figure sets, but I must say that I haven't been a fan of many of the color patterns that they've produced.
Yeah, some are a little bit too close also for my liking to modern day birds.
Yeah, and many of them are birds that exhibit niches that were nothing like what the animals they're producing.
Really,
there was one
really
that
fitting.
I don't remember what it was, the bee eater coloration, and that was probably my least favorite of them.
Yeah.
I would say the Lammergeier was my least favorite, but I think they did it before it became a really big meme.
Actually, it was pretty common already during that time, I think. They just boosted that meme.
Well, I tried to cut them some slack.
Yeah, at least I have seen a lot of the Lammergeier dromaeosaurs beforehand.
Yeah, it's that animal caught on some dromaeosaurs.
Yeah, it's
I know it started out Photoshops.
Hmm.
And you still see it a lot today as well. People making new ones with Lammergeiers. I just kind of want to, every time I see one, I kind of want to just comment, it looks nice, but please change the color.
Also today I had a discussion on Facebook with someone who did portrait and muscle study and drawing of the skull of Deinonychus. And
I saw that.
Yeah. He used, I can't remember now. He used the old, very triangular skull with this very pronounced quadrate and it's a very high skull. It's a shame that it's still used so much, also by museums and books.
Yeah, it's quite very much so.
Okay guys, I think I'm finished. Oh wait, I will try to put in here a little bit of a dust cloud before I forget it.
I have now gotten up outside where it's nice and cool for once because it just got done raining. It's usually quite hot where I live.
Oh. It would be nice to
summer.
have some rain here as well now. It's pretty dry. There were 2 days with a little bit of rain, or a decent amount of rain, but now it is supposed to be pretty dry for a few more weeks.
Where I live, we get a almost constant stream of rain. I can't remember a point in my life living in western Kentucky where we've gone 2 weeks without it having rained at least once. It rains pretty often here.
Damn.
There's also a lot of really nice conifer trees where I live.
Yeah, good references. One can never have enough conifer trees to use as references.
I agree.
Okay. Hadrosaurus done.
Now do Fabrasaurus. You know, theropods used to be my favorite thing to draw, but now it's small ornithischians.
It's understandable. They are underappreciated and their diversity is huge. I still want to do at some point
adorable.
I still want to do at some point a portrait series of small ornithopods. Because I
would
think
love that if you did that.
It's still this picture in the head of people that they were basically all Hypsilophodon in different sizes.
The same. Yeah. No, I remember when I was doing my pop art dinosaur series, which I'm going to do more of once I finish this painting and have more time. My first one was Hypsilophodon, and then my next one was Eocursor. And I immediately noticed how huge of a difference there was between Eocursor and Hypsilophodon. For one, Eocursor has a very longer snout, almost like a stegosaurid-like snout.
Yeah.
And really long legs, which is why I depicted it doing a little hop, some athletic stuff. I also have an idea for a Lielanosaura painting coming up very soon.
Nice. Okay, guys. Let me know what we could do next.
Was the Lielanosaura painting that you did recently for the book?
Yeah.
Nice. I really like that one.
I must say I'm also very very pleased with how it came out. I wasn't sure if I would get this very special lighting effect in there. Also this blurry stuff and so on. But surprisingly well.
You did a fantastic job rendering the ice.
Thanks.
Ice is trying to get right, but you did a very good job doing it.
Oh! I just saw the work in progress of the Leptoceratops. Nice.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. I like how the tree ferns are it tree ferns or Benetites?
The latter.
Okay. Turned out very nicely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was working on the entire stream, pretty much. And I took good old Adrian Weimer. He mentioned a few times that he doesn't like it when people draw ferns that are all perfect and have no signs of, say, insects chewing on them or imperfections or immature. So I tried to add a diversity in there.
Nice. Also, Brennan, that Hypacrosaurus looks pretty cool already. I also like the mountain scape in the background. Nice stuff.
Yes, it's very good. I'm trying to animals in my Leptoceratops, like perhaps a turtle. I'm definitely going to be putting some dragonflies in there.
Nice. Mayunga Sucus. Oh, but, yes, Stambird. Stambird has great ideas too. I see. Mayunga Sucus is one of my favorite Mesozoic crocodilomorphs. It looks just so bizarre.
Good. I like bizarre.
Unfortunately, there is very little literature on this animal. Oh, go ahead.
Like doing a painting and then wanting to do an animal in the background of the painting that's not the main animal, because I always feel guilty doing it, because I know how many paleo art paintings have small mammals or enantiornithians or lizards in the background. And I just feel like when I'm doing that, I'm doing a disservice to the animal. Like it deserves to have its own, or it's the centerpiece, and not just a background animal.
Yeah, I
and
know.
I also don't like flooding with as many animals as I can, because then it just looks unrealistic.
That usually doesn't really works. It only works in special occasions. For example, a busy reef or a bait ball with lots of different predators around, or a watering hole, but only certain watering holes, because
Yeah. I had considered, because I'm still not entirely sure what I want to do with the foreground, putting a herd of Triceratops in the background. I haven't felt as bad about choosing that, because Triceratops usually relegated to having a painting of its own, and I'd be kind of subverting that trope by having them as foreground animals. But I'm not sure yet. I'm going to finish the foreground before I
could also do it like Nick, who recently developed this style where the background is very blurry. Yeah, I really like that, by the way. That this gives the painting very, very much depth. It's
what I prefer to do is have the background elements be very simple and more monotone in color, while the foreground elements are more detailed. He does this a lot. You'll notice that many of his paintings the trees in the foreground will be one color and made up of a lot of simple shapes.
Yeah. True.
And I think I might take that approach with this one.
Hmm. Julian, I think we actually already did that. Julian suggests that we do your favorite fossil mustelid.
Yeah, that one would be my favorite. Oh, actually, there is one I like better, but it's not really a fossil mustelid. It went extinct, I think, in the 1500s, I think. I'm not sure, but it's the sea mink. And I read a lot about descriptions of the sea mink that were settlers. And there's some very interesting things about its anatomy that can be had from that. For example, its tail seemed to be quite tapered and flat, like that of a, and its coat was very reddish.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds a little like it's a mustelid version of a beaver.
Quite. Except voraciously carnivorous. And of course it is quite large, as most sea mammals tend to be, because of they have to be above a certain size to retain heat.
Cool.
So it is also the largest weasel that has been known, being a little bit over a meter long.
Wow. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm. I do plan on doing a painting of it one day.
Please do.
Mm-hmm. I would be quite honored. I don't think very many paleo artists have taken the jab at it. And certainly nobody has taken a jab at it with knowledge that was forwarded by the settlers that had seen it.
Is there any depiction of it yet?
They're all sort of ink drawings, and none of them are very accurate at all. Many of them just restored as looking like an up American mink.
Okay.
They all seem to be. I don't think there are any like recent. All the ones that I have seen have been from the 1900s or the 20th century. Mostly found in old textbooks.
Okay.
So I'm going to have a go at that.
Okay, problem with my younger sucus is that, like Capra sucus, we just have the skull, to my knowledge. It's well preserved, but we just don't know how the rest would look like. Most likely semi-aquatic, but yeah.
Just have its head poking up out of marsh, if you want. Let me go to the stream, actually, because I'm not on this. I can take a look. Okay, so you're at a point where you could do that.
Yeah.
Very strange looking skull indeed.
Yeah.
Almost hippopotamus-like.
Yeah, it's also often called the hippo croc.
it had a more robust and round.
Oh no! Now it begins again.
Interesting.
Now the bugging of the tablet begins again. Oh shit!
It's always the last drawing that you do, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently. Well, yesterday it started earlier, but.
Well, while you are having tablet problems, I am going to wish me luck. I hope to make many wonderful memories.
I hope as well. Oh no, 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 no. Stop! Why? Why? Good night, Juan. I will send you the Styracosaurus later. And I, of course, post it on Facebook, but... Oh, not again. See, why have I a typo in here or something? Where can I find more of this guy? I think I have a typo in here. Ah, yes, I have a typo. Oh god. I know, actually there seems to be more material of Mahjanga sucus than I thought. It has relatively long legs, but I'm not sure if this stuff is really published yet. There's so little information on this guy. There's of course his famous Mark-colored painting where two Mahjanga sucus tear apart juvenile Rapetosaurus, but I'm not sure I want to go in that direction as well. I think I will just depict it looking out of the water, maybe with a dragonfly on its nose. It could be nice. Welcome back.
Yes, it was a long and arduous journey. I didn't think I was going to survive for a moment. but I toughed through. Also, you noticed that I came back at the same Taurus left. Just saying. Okay, back to the old ground. The problem with restoring Leptoceratops with other animals from Hell Creek in it is that it is unknown what part of Hell Creek Leptoceratops.
True.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you, Tyrannus.
Yeah. Oh, hi Zomba. Welcome to the stream. It's been indeed a while.
Welcome. Welcome to the stream. stay with us if you can hand. Yes, but do you ever try to balance out the amount of landscape versus portrait paintings that you do?
Not really. I do what
Because
I feel like I need to do.
I don't at all, and to be honest, I much prefer doing portrait paintings. I just like the way that they look, and I like that it's a lot easier usually to striking follow your eye type composition with them. And I don't know, I just always liked doing portrait illustrations more than landscapes. So most of my work is probably going to be all portrait.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is good if you want it for the background of your phone, but bad if you want it for the background of your laptop.
Portrait is indeed, at least in the realm of paleo art, often easier. I mean, when you try to do landscape, you have basically nothing to work with except the fossil record, and the geological descriptions. There are certain types of.
Well, it's not so.
You can't just take a photo, like you can take a photo of a fossil and reconstruct it. You have to work with so many little puzzle pieces.
Yes. For me, it's not so much the ease of it. It's purely aesthetic. I like the way that it looks better. Which is a completely subjective thing, but still.
Yeah, sure. No, but I can relate to that. I think sometimes portrait is just nicer. I mean, when I started doing paleo art online, basically only published portraits and landscape was nearly absent. Maybe some branches and some rocks here and there.
If you're going to, especially if you're going to have it in a book one day, it's a lot easier editing portraits, because oftentimes landscape paintings and books are relegated to those two, often cut out a lot within the crease.
Yeah. It looks really like a hippo now.
Good.
I just need to add a watermelon between its jaws.
What the viewers don't know is this is actually a reference to an embargo study where they found out that Mayungasuchus is actually the oldest fossil hippo.
Juan knows something about distribution of Leptoceratops in Hell Creek.
Oh, he does? Please enlighten me. Let me go to the stream chat so I can see. Basically, Leptoceratops is absent in the last 300,000 years of Hell Creek when Triceratops porsus came around. Okay. So it's only in the upper. It's a good thing that I haven't added the Triceratops to the background. I should probably not.
Yep.
Thank you. You have saved me embarrassment.
Although it's of course possible that they still live together and it's just insufficient fossil record this is based on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there aren't even that many fossils of Leptoceratops anyway.
There's like 2. Well, technically 3, because one of them is a double specimen of 2 preserved together, and then there's 1 skull.
Mm-hmm.
From what I know, there might be another one. But...
yeah, maybe it's a little bit of collection bias. Maybe there are tons of specimens, but they are just not very interesting. At least I can imagine it's much easier to get funding for another study on T-Rex than Leptoceratops.
That is my advice in calling them parrot pigs.
Okay.
Alternate universe where the media was more likely to report on small animals being discovered instead of large ones. And that was considered to be more impressive. Like, the bee hummingbird is like every dinosaur in this universe because it's the smallest.
Yeah, you have Jurassic Park with tiny microraptors killing everything.
Yeah. Microraptor and
downsized microraptors,
yeah.
Especially.
Yes, smaller than they actually.
Yeah.
A Tyrannosaurus, they would have a Hoxiognathus.
Oh, Stembird, I was shocked for a moment. I thought you agreed with Juan to go to bed, but
Yes, Juan, go to bed. You gotta go with your nap time. It wasn't because he doesn't like Juan, he just wants him to get up nice and early tomorrow.
Yeah.
For his own health.
I'm not sure what would be suitable coloration for a large crocodilomorph from a seasonal arid environment, which has a hippo-like skull but otherwise has relatively long limbs, so was probably decently mobile on land, although nothing like Sebekeats or something like that.
Color it like Anchiornis. Honestly, one of the things that I'm looking the most forward to in the Hell Creek art book is having a good go-to reference for fossil plants in Hell Creek.
Yeah. That's true.
It is going to be incredible.
Well, at least from that part of Hell Creek.
Yeah, at least from Bone Butte.
Yeah.
Boy, were those buttes.
Kuban Croc. Yeah, that's probably good. Good comparison.
Good
Sommer,
ecology.
this is Mahajanga sucus. Animal from the same formation as Mahajungasaurus and Rapetosaurus. Yes, that boy.
And Rothenavus.
Also known as Hippocroc. Let's see if this works.
I need to add some footprints to this.
Oh yes, ethnology is so often overlooked. Paleo art.
Quite. I remembered thinking about doing footprints in it earlier, but then I got lost with all the other thoughts in my brain. Do you know what the most reoccurring element in my dreams lately have been?
Nope.
It's, I end up somehow or another owning the complete series of Adventure Time on DVD.
Okay. And again, I wonder what Freud would say about that.
He would manage to find some way to make it about my mother, probably.
Yeah. He would find a way to somehow link it to your sexuality.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Princess Bubblegum's pretty cute.
look at some pictures of Cuban crocodiles. I'm really surprised how high quality this stream has become.
Oh, good.
At least today.
Has become, is right now at this very moment. What do you think our best stream has been?
I don't know. I mean, conversation-wise, I think Midi's interview stream was probably the best. That was very, very fruitful. Art-wise, it's hard to say. Sometimes it's not really much that got be done, but is very high in quality, but it's very little. And then there are streams with tons of sketches, but relatively little quality content.
People of the stream, you tell us what your favorite episode has been so far.
Yes, if you can remember everyone.
Would be useful with me.
Just type in every stream is Kirby's best stream.
Aww. Last stream with me was mostly because you couldn't hear anything I was saying.
Yes, that was also a highlight for me. That last one. Oh.
Every stream where we can't hear what Kirby is saying is the best stream.
Zomba says that Princess Bubblegum is probably a little bit too old for you, Kirby.
I like older women. Untrue. I'm a year older than I was. So I guess by older women, I mean women that are pretty much the exact same age as me.
Plus a few more months or less.
I suppose. Plus or less a few more months. Preferably more. The more experience they have in being alive and able to tell me that I'm doing something better. You know, I really, really hate it when I'm working on a painting and there's just one little dot and I can't figure out what layer it's on to erase it. And I go through every layer trying to figure out which layer has the dot on.
That's why I don't like layers.
Paint everything on the same layer.
Yeah.
Just like real painting.
You know, it took me years to figure out what you actually do with layers.
Well, it's quite a convenient tool to have around.
When they work, yes.
By the way, to everybody that's looking for an art program to use, Sketchbook Pro is now free, I think, which is what I use. Yeah, they just added all the features that's in the Pro version to regular Sketchbook. I don't know. It sounds like a bad idea, money making wise, but I'm not complaining.
Maybe they have now another flagship ship they use for that.
DLCs.
Yeah, for example.
Crates, boxes, get a loot box with different pin nubs. They do that sometimes, where they'll have like pin sets that you can download with different textures that could cost money. So maybe they're making all their money off of that.
Maybe that's enough.
I figured out that Sketchbook was free when I realized after the first I had paid for the premium version, I wasn't charged 2 years later, and I was like, why haven't I been charged? And then I looked, and because it's free now, so I'm not getting charged anymore.
Nice. Or maybe it's just for long-term clients now. I have to look into that. I have also a Sketchbook, but only the normal version. So,
Yeah, the old normal version was you could only for example, you could only have 3 layers on a painting. You didn't have near as many brush options. You didn't have any editing options. It was quite bad.
Yeah, that's why I basically never use it. I only use it because it has a nice mirroring tool. Something that
it's pretty much the only thing I'm used to now. It has an extremely different setup from all other art, a lot more simple, and I think a lot more user friendly. But because of that, if it goes off and I'm not able to use it anymore, I'm pretty much screwed because I don't know how to use anything else because of how skewed and the way it controls.
Okay, I think I'm finished actually.
Learn how to do Photoshop. Is this the final round for the stream?
Yeah. This was the last one.
What type of music? I don't actually listen to music while I'm working on pieces. I listen to podcasts.
Or live streams.
I guess I should say, yeah, or live streams. I listened to the last podcast on the left, which is a horror podcast. I listened to Tetsu, of course. I listened to some Let's Play channels. The podcast, which is just nonsense usually, but every now and again they'll make good points. Actually, the podcast that I've been listening to the most while working on art is this one, because usually the most time I spend painting is on this stream.
I usually don't listen to music as well. Or not actively. It's just often that something runs in my head over and over again. But I have a very, very long YouTube playlist of usually classical stuff, film music a lot. Soundtrack of games, documentaries, stuff like that. Yeah, I think
I never listen to music to. I don't listen to music to like tone out. I don't usually like background of doing something. Whenever I listen to music, I'm like actively listening to it, focusing all my attention on the music I'm listening to. So it's more something I do in the car on the way to work, or I put my headphones in and I go for a walk, and I pay attention to the music.
Yeah. I very rarely do that. I don't know why, but
I think I'm in a minority. I think most people just background, but I pretty much only listen to music like actively.
Okay, we started out today with Styracosaurus, which was a free wish that Juan had, because he donated again to the GoFundMe campaign of the Old Kingdom. Same goes for this one, Tratayenia, Megaraptorite from South America. That was a wish by Connor Ross, and he wished for this one. If you want a free wish as well, so the guarantee that I will actually do what you say, then you have to donate to that campaign. Link in the description. Next was Caviramus, a weird pterosaur from Austria. Actually, very, very cool one. Characterized by its weird dentition, that crest on its head, and the more sprawling gait. Okay, next was Hadrosaurus, not Hadrosaurus. Please notice the difference.
And not Fabrosaurus.
Yeah, because it's a Habrosaurus. They are very friendly, at least to humans. Because they are extinct, but they were roughly the same size than humans. And the last one we did was Mahajanga Sucus, this cute puppy hippo boy. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's perfect timing, Sedol. It's we stop now anyway. Quick look on Discord. Unprofessionally, that's a very nice coloration for your Anurognatite, I must say. Also nice progress, Brennan, on the
only person. My bad.
Say again.
The only skeletal for Fabrosaurus that I found is made by David Peters, so that's very upsetting.
Yeah, damn it. Well, sometimes it's worth it to make your own very rough skeletal drawing, just a piece of paper and the paper laying beside it, and then try to make sense of what you see. Maybe that can help, but I don't know how much material is known, so
I think just like Indubium.
Oh, okay.
Good. We don't have to worry about it anymore.
Okay, guys. I already hear the bed calling to me, so let's make this quick. I hope you liked the stream. Please share with your friends, family, foes, and pets. Next stream will be next Friday. Hopefully, we will see. Yeah, please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Kirby, do you have some last words?
Yes. Fabrosaurus, it turns out, is actually just what it seems.
Okay.
And also, good night.
Good night, everybody. And 1, 2, 3, out.